Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock. With news, the US Fed has delivered the expected December 25 basis points rise in its official interest rate. The rate has been raised to 1.5%, and they've signalled that three more similar rises are due in 2018, taking the Fed funds rate to 2.25%. Remember, 2 years ago it was just 0.25%. This is a relatively dovish statement, and the US Treasury yield fell on the news. US dollar also retreated. No mention was made of the impending fiscal stimulus from Congress's corporate tax cuts and the impact that may have on inflation. But it did raise its estimate for GDP growth in 2018 to 2.5% from 2.1%. Meanwhile, underlying American inflation fell in November to 2.2% on lower healthcare costs and a bigger drop in clothing prices in nearly 20 years. This is the sort of data that could impact the pace at which the Fed raises interest rates next year. And at the World Trade Organization meeting in Argentina, the US, Japan and the EU issued a joint statement aimed at China, criticizing it for requiring foreign firms to transfer technology to locals and for subsidizing its industry. China is short a bridle at the accusations as it wants to be declared a market economy at the WTO, and this seems less likely now. Essentially, the market economy status allows China to use its own local prices in defending anti-dumping cases that are brought against it in the WTO disputes framework. In Sydney, the Austrac legal action against CBA is moving along, with the bank filing its defence position. It admitted it was late in submitting some suspicious transaction reports, but it will contest most of the other charges. And Moody's has published a review of the state of banks in the Asia-Pacific region, and they say ours are in a stable position. They flag the possibility of declining profitability here as a risk. In Australia, they see the risk in declining asset quality, although they say the Aussie bank's capital improvements will be positive. New Zealand bank asset quality and capital support are said to be stable. New Zealand and Australian banks are noted as an exception because of the high reliance on wholesale funding. In New York, the US Treasury 10-year yield has slipped back to 2.36% after the Fed announcement. And the price of crude oil is lower again today, just under $57 a barrel, while the Brent benchmark is now down to $62.50 a barrel. In an updated OPEC report, they said member oil production fell to its lowest in 6 months. But American production is surging faster than expected, meaning oil markets may not rebalance before the end of next year. The price of gold is up $7 to $1,245 an ounce, and the Kiwi dollar is higher, now up more than half a cent to 69.9 US cents. And on the cross rates, we're holding up too at 91.9 Aussie cents, and against the euro, 59.4 euro cents. That puts the TWI up to over 73, its highest since New Zealand first chose the Labour Party as the election winner. And Bitcoin is now at $15,985, down 7% from this time yesterday. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.